Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mystic Temple, Spirituality for a New Age. And we are all right, we got people coming on live. Hello, we are ready for the Channel Wisdom Circle today. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Good to see everyone. All right, so we're going to dive into the message for today from the Cosmic Collective Consciousness. So, one thing I realized, because they've already kind of given me ahead of time, not always, sometimes I don't actually know what they're going to talk about, but sometimes they will give me kind of an inkling or at least a topic or whatever right beforehand because do my whole connection thing. So, hey, Monique. I mean, Dominique. I channeled, right? I connected and they gave me the topic for today, which we're going to be talking about ascension. But what I realized before we start getting into the flow, one thing I'm noticing is that the cosmic collective consciousness with these lives lately, is they're giving me the what to say. I don't actually know what I'm about to say before I say it. I feel like they're taking you on a journey because each day has something to do with what we've talked about previously, but adds on to that. So what we're going to be talking about today is ascension. And one thing that they want you guys to be aware of when we're talking about ascension and um, raising our levels of consciousness and things like that. A lot of times when you talk about ascension, you're just the word ascend. It creates a mental picture of you kind of going somewhere else, right? Kind of not where you currently are, but going somewhere else. And not that that word is incorrect, because that word is correct. We are ascending. But one thing that they want you to understand is you are already ascended. So I'm gonna break down this topic, but you're already ascended. There's nowhere to go outside of yourself when you are looking for ascension. Ascension is a spiritual journey of remembrance. Ascension is a spiritual journey within yourself. There's nothing outside of yourself to aspire to. And even when we use words like reach, and again, the cosmic collective consciousness is saying there's nothing wrong with using these words, but it's important to make a distinction when we use these words, what we're really talking about. When we say we are reaching for our next level, we're moving into our next chapter. We are ascending into our next level of consciousness, or what have you. Understand that that ascension is not outside of yourself. There is nothing that you have to get to. It's not a destination. It's a state of being. So ascension is a state of remembrance, remembering who you actually are, remembering that you are a being of light and that you are literally already ascended. You are already an ascended being. You are an ascended being who is currently in amnesia. That's what you are. Message. You are an ascended being that is currently in amnesia. And so the process of ascension is not about reaching out here to something else outside of yourself or to some location or destination that you are not at yet. Ascension is the process of going within. And since you are already an ascended being, your state of being is already there as a baseline. All you have to do is remove all the junk, remove the layers of shrinkage, remove the layers of ego, remove the layers of of uh, of believing in this illusionary reality. That's what you have to do. That is the process of ascension. It's removing the layers, and through removing those layers, you come closer and closer to that remembrance. So as each layer gets unveiled and moved out of the way and cleaned off and sometimes ripped off. As each of those layers gets removed, then we begin to remember, because without those layers of gunk on top, then that's who we are. We're an ascended being. Now, what are those layers? Those layers are, again, what I said earlier, shrinkage. So we are taught to shrink. We are taught in our society to shrink. We are taught to not believe in ourselves. We're taught to believe in everything outside of ourselves. And why? We're not going to get into politics or anything, but I will say this, that an ascended people cannot be controlled. An awakened people cannot be controlled. Okay, so there is a reason why our society is built the way that it's built. It's very intentional, okay, for us not to be awake. Okay, and it's not just this society we're currently living in. There's, many societies throughout history have been like this, which is why we incarnate. That's part of the game. I say life is like this human experience. This incarnation is like a video game, and you're trying to get to the end of the video game. We have cheat codes. We have extra powers that get turned on at different parts of the game. We have other characters in the game um, that we have to work with, or that we have to combat, and things like that. This is literally, synonymous to a video game. But the process of remembrance is the end of that game, and everything, all the obstacles in between, are there for you not to remember, are there to force you down. Okay, and when it comes to shrinkage, how can you possibly remember that you are truly already an ascended being if you are shrinking? You can't, the two cannot be true at the same time. The two cannot be true at the same time. There's no duality in that. You're either an ascended being and standing in your power and recognizing that, or you are not recognizing that, which means you're shrinking to some extent, right? And so, what are we always taught? And I talk about this a lot. Very unpopular opinion, but I don't care. People are always taught to be humble. I don't believe in that at all, because the word humble means to shrink yourself, to lower yourself. And you should never lower yourself for anything. And why in our society is that something that is supposed to be, oh my God, you're such a good person because you're humble? People have called me humble before. I'm like, don't call me that. I know what they mean, though. What they mean is that I'm not arrogant, and I'm not, like, boast, whatever. But that does, I'm not humble. Okay, let's be clear on that. I am not a humble person because I don't shrink myself. Okay, and neither should you. You should not be humble. You shouldn't be arrogant. You shouldn't be a jerk. You shouldn't be any of those things. You should be caring and all of those things, but you don't have to be caring and not a jerk. And you don't have to be humble in order to be those things. Okay, humble and grounded are two different things. Exactly what the Ascension guy just said. Two different things. Two different things. So it's important for you to remember that. And in the process of ascension, you have to remember that you are already ascended. And so the reaching part is, again, reaching outside of yourself. So we have to remove that imagery from our minds when we think of ascension and when we think of evolution and growth. Remember that that is a process within yourself, not outside of yourself. It's not something you're reaching for, it's something you're uncovering. Okay, you are uncovering the layers of gook on top of you that have forced you to remain in amnesia. And why are you in amnesia? Because we're born here, we're put in, that's part of the game. Okay, and then again, part of the game is to actually remember. So I want you to think of right now, are there any points of your life where you are shrinking? And when I say shrinking, I some people are literally shrinking and cowering, right, in fear and in powerlessness. But there's other forms of shrinking as well. So there's that extreme. As soon as you think of someone shrinking, you think of that, right? But there's other parts of shrinking that are more subtle that you may not recognize. Any part of you that is not recognizing your God form, and that you are ascended, and also being able to see beyond the ego, you're shrinking in some way, shape, or form. So it's important that you recognize where you are shrinking. He said, or confused. Yes. Well, confusion is also a form of shrinking. Let me tell you that, because at the end of the day, if you're confused, that means you're not connected, because there is no confusion. You have all the answers inside of you. So if you are feeling confused, and this isn't a shame on anyone who may be confused, but what I'm saying is, if you are feeling confused, the solution to that confusion is to connect, because you have all the answers inside. There is no confusion. No confusion actually exists. You allow confusion through disconnection. Okay, message, message. Yes, you allow confusion through disconnection. So you have to stay connected to your higher self, to your soul. And when you do keep that connection, that is part of the remembrance. That's part of the remembrance. And that is part of the evolution and the ascension. So it's important that you think of life in this framing, because when you don't think of life in this framing, that's how, that's how you end up confused, and you end up, out of your rhythm and not following your path. So the Ascension Guide said the cosmic collective consciousness is on a roll today. Yes, it is. Yes, they are. So this is one of the things, by the way, that we teach in the Pathways program. So it's called the Pathways to Divine Consciousness and Fulfillment. So that's one of the things that we teach, and everyone who is in that program is literally going on this journey within themselves and beginning to evolve and piece of hair in my face, beginning to evolve and ascend. And it's about ascending to the different stages of consciousness. But are those different stages of consciousness out here? No, they're not out there. They're in here. They're in here. And that's a message that they want you to really, really marinate in today. Okay, is to remember the remembrance of yourself, but remember that everything is in here. And that again is part of the whole remembrance, the overall remembrance. You are already an ascended being. So being that you are already an ascended being, how would you move differently in your life knowing that? Knowing that, especially on your spiritual journey, in that reframing. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Like how does that, I want you to think about that for a second. How does that change your perspective of your journey? Because that's an important thing. I want to make sure you guys are getting it. Okay, is it landing? I want you to make sure you guys are getting it, because this is a really key thing to fully understand as you're on your journey. Because again, we're taught that we are nothing. That's what we're taught in our society. We're taught that there's so many things outside of ourselves that are out of our control. We're taught that our reality we have no control over. We're taught that everything that's happening in our life is so important when it's actually not. We're taught all these things that keep us in the illusion. They keep us chained to this illusionary reality. They keep us chained to the amnesia. Stop stressing about the small. That's right. That's right. So these are the things that are going on all the time. And if we don't choose to remember, you have to choose to remember, because it's really easy to move through this world and just continue in amnesia. And it's like the Matrix, whether you're going to take that blue pill or the red pill. Okay. And the one guy in the Matrix was like, you know what? I know the steak isn't real, but it tastes so good. I'd rather live in this world. That's your choice. That is your choice. You have to choose to remember. Choosing to remember is who you really are. But the difference between this and the movie The Matrix is the remembrance is beautiful. The remembrance is beautiful. You can stay in the illusion. The illusion is crazy, but it can be nice too, right? But but it's not like like I said in the Matrix, the real world was like crazy and ugly. But no, the remembrance is beautiful. The remembrance is beautiful. But it takes courage to remember, because the journey that you have to go through to remember within yourself is a battle within yourself, is in a battle with those layers that are stuck on top. Okay, the Real Ascension Guide said I definitely allow more ease and stillness, not feeling as though I need to do so much, allow myself to be. Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. And I want to piggyback off what the Real Ascension Guide just said, because a lot of times when you're on your spiritual journey, and especially those of you who are serious about your spiritual journey, as you should be, okay, sometimes we get so like caught up in the journey. You get so caught up in the journey, and you feel like if you are standing still, you're not moving, and then you feel guilty about that. Remember that and that's why I said they're kind of taking you guys on a journey, because I'm noticing like certain things that they just recently said in lives over the past 2 weeks have are applied to what we're doing now. But remember that there's moments of rest and there's moments of action, and they are equally important, equally important. So you don't have to only be in action all the time, nor should you be. You shouldn't always be in action, because we live in a balanced world, and we need times of rest and times of action. We are not meant to be go, 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 go all the time. Okay. So those of you who want to be on your grind all the time, hear that message. Message. Okay. That was a side note. All right. So we're not supposed to be in go, go, go mode all the time. That includes in our spiritual journey. Sometimes we have to sit and marinate in it, marinate in the sauce, marinate in the knowledge, marinate in the experience. Okay. It's okay to marinate. Just sit back, let it ride. Marinate in it and enjoy it until you feel guided to move again. So you don't have to continuously be on the go, on the go, on the go spiritually. And also, I want to say this because they're pushing this into me right now. Is also there's a lot of people that want to compare themselves to other people on their spiritual journey. Cut that out. Like, what are you doing? We are all on our own individual journeys. We don't need to be comparing ourselves to other people like, oh, this person's moving. Oh, I need to be moving. Why are they there and I'm here? You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay? Stop comparing yourself to other people in your journey. And there is no spiritual elitism. Okay? Let's talk about that as well. There's no spiritual elitism. So there's no one that's better than anyone else because of whatever they're doing on their spiritual journey. Everyone is equals, okay? So anyone who likes to believe that they are a spiritual elite over another person's spiritual journey and blah blah blah, that's the ego. Okay? That's the ego, and that tells you that no, they are not where they profess to be. Because in reality, if you remember your ascended self, if you remember who you really are, then guess what? You remember who everyone else really is too. All right. And everyone else is also divine. Everyone else is also ascended. And it's just they may not have remembered yet, or they may be choosing not to remember in this moment, but that may be part of their path as well. Remember what the Cosmic Collective Consciousness in a previous live also said is that we are all on our own path and we don't all have to be ascending at the same time, right? We are moving into an age where that is supposed to be happening, and that is happening. But it's individually. We have to be ready. Remember, there's readiness. We have to be ready for the journey. We have to be ready for the possibilities. We have to be ready for the reality. We have to be ready for the awakening. And the things that happen on our journey bring us to that readiness, and that is divine timing. So if you are not there yet, that's okay. That's okay. That's what Mystic Temple is here for. That's why I'm here. That's my life purpose. That's why I've been put in play into this reality. That's why I'm here. That's why the light guardians are here. And that's why some of you are here too. Okay? Some of you are light workers, some of you are also here to assist in the awakening. Okay, in the mass awakening that is supposed to be happening, and that is happening slowly but surely. It's happening. So remember, there is no spiritual elitism. Everyone is equal, and when you fully remember, okay, and again, that's not some Instagram post. Okay, that's not a pretty thing to put up on your wall. I'm being real. Okay, that's the reality. That's the true reality. The true world is that you are divine. You have divinity that flows through you, and the same divinity that flows through you flows in everyone else. Okay? So there is no elitism. And I don't know why they want me to keep talking about that right now, but clearly some of you need to hear that. Clearly some of you need to hear that today, okay? Message. All right. So divine timing. Yes, yes. I'm just reading some notes here. It's definitely the matrix. Yes. All right. All right. Love the comments, guys. So let's talk about the layers. It's important that you uncover those layers. Remember, I said that you are already ascended. The only thing that is keeping you in amnesia are those layers of stuff on top. And one of those things that we already talked about is the shrinking and how we are taught to shrink and how we need to stop doing that in every aspect of our lives. And the other ways, the other types of layers that prevent us from remembering is um, is the idea that there's something outside of us, right? And that's another form of shrinking, but outside of the shrinking, just belief in something outside of us, in believing uh, that we don't have what it takes to get where we want to get, and we have to fit within these boxes and so on and so forth, and believing in labels and believing in all of those things, and really society itself, there's so many little things, right? It's also our traumas that become layers that keep us in amnesia because we can't ascend if we are succumbing to the trauma. If we are allowing that trauma to control us, then we are not standing in our power. And that means we need, there's healing processes you go through, there's all of those things, but those are vehicles of remembrance if you allow them to be. Again, it's all a choice. Everything is a choice. And that's the beauty of this incarnation is we have the choice. We have the choice to ascend. We have the choice to not ascend. We have the choice to remember. We have the choice to stay in amnesia. We can take the blue pill or the red pill. It's up to us. Okay. But our choices dictate our reality. And when I tell you that the remembering is beautiful, some of you have already come into some sense of remembrance and you can see the beauty in that. But what causes the suffering? The amnesia causes the suffering in life. It's the amnesia that creates the circumstances that where suffering can even exist. Because when you come into full remembrance, which again, that's what the Pathways to Divine Consciousness and Fulfillment program is about. When you come into full remembrance and reach those higher levels of consciousness, at a certain level, suffering can no longer exist because again the conditions for suffering to exist within the amnesia. Right, choose your power. Choose your power. So with your traumas, and this is why it's so important, a lot of you may think like, okay, I'll heal from that later, I'll do that later. No, do it now. What are you waiting for? Again, it's your choice. It's your choice. But like I always say, and like the book of Rashida says, suffering is a choice. Okay, it is a choice. But I'm here to tell you that you have the opportunity right now, every day, in fact, but right now in this moment to move out of that. You have the opportunity to uncover those layers and begin the ascension within yourself of remembrance. You have the opportunity to ascend out of amnesia. You have this opportunity every day, all the time, right now. And it can happen very quickly. It doesn't have to take forever. It really doesn't. It can happen very quickly, but you have to start. You have to start. And depending on where you are, it's not going to happen overnight. It will take some time, depending on where you are. But it doesn't have to take an entire lifetime or lifetimes. Where normally, when people move up levels of consciousness, we can stay in the same level of consciousness across 5, 10 different lifetimes, hundreds of lifetimes. And then all of a sudden, in the next lifetime, you begin to ascend and you go up. But the opportunity that is being afforded right now in the time that we're living in is to be able to fully fully ascend within one lifetime. And that's what's happening in the world right now. Okay, there is a massive awakening, which is why Mystic Temple here is here, which is why I'm here, which is why the Book of Rashida is here to assist and really lead that remembrance. Okay, in worldwide, because I've already been shown for those of you who are new. I'm not going to get into the whole story because it's a long one. So go to mystictemple.org to read the whole entire story if you want the whole story of how all of this came about. But I was shown back in 2012 my entire future. That's when I was shown my purpose. That's when I was shown the things that are happening right now in the world. I was shown everything all the way into the future, hundreds of years later. In fact, thousands of years later. I was shown all of it, not all the tiny little details, but I was shown generally what is going to happen and my purpose and my involvement in those things. And that's when I was shown that I had to start Mystic Temple, all of the things. So me being able to see all of those things, I know where everything is going, and I'm letting you know, okay, that this isn't. We are in the process of that awakening and creating that new world, okay. And if you go back to Divinity Session number 1, I explained that in detail. Divinity Session number 1, the first Divinity Session at Mystic Temple, you can find that on Mystic Circle TV or YouTube. You can also go to the Mystic Temple podcast and go all the way to the first episode, and you will see that there's like 81 episodes now. So go all the way back to the first one. And I explained all of that in that episode, in that divinity session. All right. So got no time, big lady hoarding traumas. That's right. We don't have time to hoard traumas. Exactly. Exactly. We need to get rid of those traumas. We need to get rid of them. So again, everything that is happening right now is giving you have the opportunity to do that. You have the opportunity to do all of that. And so the message today is to remember that your remembrance is within, not outside. Okay, all of the things that when we frame things in our mind, we need to remember that all of the evolution and the ascension is ascending through the layers of gook. Okay, ascension is really ascending through the layers of gook so that we can remove the amnesia and begin to remember. And once we get into that remembrance, then we are fully in our power. And we can have that remembrance while we are in the physical self, while we are in this physical plane, in this incarnation. We have a dual uh, energy going on in this reality. We are physical beings, but we are also spiritual beings. We have the ability to fully ascend spiritually while still in our physical human body. And that's the secret that a lot of people don't tell you about, because when you think of ascension, you're like, okay, I ascend and then I just disappear because I can no longer be worldly. That's not true. Part of the game, I call this a video game. Part of the game is being able to ascend while still here, because once you leave here, once you die, you will ascend. You will remember who you are again. You're already there. That's easy. Okay, the hard part is ascending while you're still here and while you're still enjoying your life. And that's also why Mystic Temple is about, not only the spiritual stuff about being in the clouds and all of those things, but it's also about helping you live a happier life, because really you're human. You are here to live a human experience, and that human experience can be fun, or it can be, tumultuous. So which do you want it to be? You have the opportunity. Again, you have a choice in everything. You have the opportunity to determine which one that is, but you can live a beautiful life while still also being spiritually ascended, and recognizing the illusion while still being able to play the game within the individual identity, which is part of the illusion. So that's a whole nother thing. We'll talk about that another time. but but yes, all of those things, there is duality in that, and all of that is possible and necessary. And that's what we're doing here at Mystic Temple, both helping you elevate spiritually within yourself, okay, ascension within, and remembrance from the amnesia, but also helping you live a happier, more fulfilled, and enjoyable life, because that's what it should be all about. All right, guys. So that's all I have for you today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye.